What's up, guys? VV back with another video. This time we got green, purple, Doflamingo film. Okay, we are going to be going over 3 decks, and these look really interesting. This is this first one I have up is the one that won a pretty big tournament, the Championship 2023 qualifier, or first qualifier area tournament for Miyagi. And I think this is a deck that beat out quite a few of the more dominant decks, more dominant red decks in the format, especially Whitebeard at the time. So let's go right into it, guys. I got 3 decks coming up for us, just to know what you're getting into. So we're gonna go over each one of these and then talk about, maybe what's going on with purple green right now, or green purple Doffy. I think we have a core, for the deck. I think it's all here, guys. So, all right, so let's take a look. So, Doflamingo is the leader, of course. For those who don't know, he has put up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of your turn, right? So, when your turn ends, you've spent all your Dawn. You reset 2 Dawn as active. Okay. First up, we have 3 Brook. We have 3 Luffy, the 7-cost 7K blocker who can play a 4 or 4 less from hand. We have 4 of Tony Chopper. We have 4 Uta, the film, obviously film. The 4 cost 5K, 1K counter blocker that has Dawn -1, where she can rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of was it like 4 or 5 or less? I can't remember actually. Let me see. I got her up right here. Excuse me. Yeah, with the cost of 5 or less. And she's a blocker. And she's film. That's the most relevant part, right? Then we have 3 Guild Tesoro, or Guild Tesoro, however you say his name. We have 1 Baccarat in this deck. That's interesting. Then we have 4 Buena Fiesta. We have 4 Nami, 4 Sugar, 4 Don Quixote Doflamingo 10-drop, 2 Shiki, 4 Paradise Waterfalls, 3 Punk Gibson, 4 Spiderweb, 3 Thunder Bagua. Okay, let's talk about defense real quick, as in for the rest of the video, right? So this deck is extremely defensive, just up front defensive. Let's see how many 2K counters we're running. We have 4 Tony Chopper 2K counters. We have 4 Buena Fiestas. We have 2 Shikis. Okay, there you go, 10 2K counters. And that's not it. Then we have 4 Paradise Waterfalls, 3 Punk Gibsons, 4 Spiderwebs, 3 Thunder Bagua. So that is another 16 defensive abilities. Then we also have, 2 blockers in the deck? Let me see. Yeah, there's Monkey D. Luffy, 7-cost 7K blocker. And then Uda, 4-cost 5K blocker. This is just an extremely defensive deck. It also has some pretty good searchers. Okay. Buena Fiesta, he's a 2K counter, so you don't always want to use him for his on play, but early in the game you might want to, right? So he's not dead in your hand most of the game. Buena Fiesta is look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal 1 film card, right? And then Nami, there's a 3-cost Nami. Let me read this this word for word so I don't mess it up for anybody here. She has an on play and when attacking, pay 1. You do have to pay 1, so she kind of costs 4 if you want to use her ability right away, or you can play her on turn 3 and use her ability the next turn. But she has pay 1 on play or when attacking. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 film type card other than Nami, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So you're looking at, just a recurring searcher if she can be protected. Another very defensive card is Sugar. I'm going to read that card to you as well. That one is an excellent little card, Sugar. So it is a 2-cost 1K counter, 0 power. It's not going to be attacking, okay? It has effect opponent's turn. Once per turn, when your opponent plays a character card, if your leader has Don Quixote Pirates, of course it will. In this deck, that's the leader. Rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters, then rest this card. Okay, so notice how that's worded. When your opponent plays a character, so they played a character, if your leader has the Dressrosa, if your leader has the Don Quixote Pirates type, rest up to one of your opponent's characters. One of their characters. Not necessarily the one that just entered. It could be that one. But any of their character. No cost restriction. And then she also has on play, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So she comes in, rest that guy, and then, oh, you play a big guy on your turn? Okay, we'll rest him too. This deck, I will say, just seems so strong. It seems so... There's so much synergy. Almost every one of these cards is film. The only cards that are not film in this deck, if I'm not mistaken, are the events. And for the events, yeah, you've got Paradise Waterfall, that's not. Punk Gibson, that's not. Spiderweb is Don Quixote Pirates, yeah, and then Bagua, yeah. So, other than your events, and other than your Don Quixote Doflamingo 10 drop, other than that, you know, you're searching up anything else. And these characters are all very relevant. And it also has a very good tempo shift in the sense that, okay, for those who don't know, the 7 cost Monkey D. Luffy, let me read the card. I got to bring it up because I can't read that small font. Okay. On play up to 1 cost 4 or lower film or Straw Hat crew type character from your hand. So, like, you have these plays where you can go Luffy into Brook. Okay, let me read him for you real quick. Brook is on play up to 1 cost 3 or lower film or Straw Hat type character card from your hand. You can go from that into a Nami. Or a... You can't... Oh, Sugar was another one you can't search up. By the way, Sugar is not film. Okay, guys, Sugar was not film either. Just to make sure we're clear on that. Sorry, I looked over all the cards that are right in front of my face. But you can... So you can... There's a few ways you can play this out, right? Where you can go like Monkey Luffy into Brook into Nami, or you can go Monkey Luffy into Uda, and that is very, very big value there, right? Because you're going a 7K blocker into a 5K blocker, and one of those blockers, Uda, can don -1 to, you know, rest one of their characters. You know, it's just very, very good tempo swings with cards like that. And guys, there's a reason a deck like this is winning, and I've got 3 that we're going to go over, but there were many more of this of the purple green Doffy decks. We're just going over 3 today. Let's see: Paradise Waterfall, Punk Gibson, Spiderweb, Thunder Bagua. These are all plus 4K counters, every one of them except Paradise Waterfall. And Paradise Waterfall is sometimes. Let me read it for you. It's kind of like it's the same idea, right? It's okay. Your leader or one of your characters gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. Then set one of your characters as active. So it's like Spiderweb. It's like the baby version of Spiderweb, where that one is a 4K that does the same thing, right? So your cards that are tapped down, you can put them back up. So in other words, if you blocked with your 7K Luffy, right? And then, like, okay, well, now I'll swing again into your leader. Okay, well, I'm going to go plus 2,000, so I survive the attack, and I'm going to restand Luffy. You see what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where it's like, man, the whole deck goes together so well. And then Punk Gibson's like the more offensive version of what we're saying, where you can just tap down one of their 4 or less guys. And Thunder Bagua, that's just a nice 4K count. Let me get that one up as well. I just want to read it for y'all to make sure everyone, everyone knows what that card does, but just to read it, like I like to read the cards word for word. Counter: your leader or one of your characters gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. Then, if you have 2 or less life cards, add 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Okay, and with a deck like this, you are throwing Dawn back into your Dawn deck through your Guild Tesoro or your Guild Tesoro. Guild Tesoro, let me read him real quick. He's like your big draw engine. Okay. Oops, there we go. Tesoro is when attacking, Dawn -2. So you're returning 2 Dawn, right? Draw 2 cards. Just flat out draw 2. Not like draw 2, discard 2. Draw 2 cards. That's pretty good, guys. That is really good. And then the last card I want to talk about, I think it's the last card we haven't talked about, is, well, Shiki, we'll talk about him real quick. He's nice in the sense that if you need to cheat him out for an extra body, you can. If you get him off the trigger, you can don -1 to play the card. Otherwise, he's a 2K counter. That's his main purpose. He's a film card, so you can search him up with your searchers as a 2K counter if needed. Yeah, nothing too much to talk about there. But then last card is, of course, the big man himself, Doflamingo. He is one of the best tempo cards in the game to play in succession of one another, right? Like, so in other words, if you can go turn 1 Doflamingo, or not turn 1, turn, whatever turn it is where you have 10 Dawn, boom, Doflamingo, keep those 3 characters tapped down. One can be the leader, by the way. Okay, and now I'm going to read the card here. A total of up to 3 of your opponent's rested characters or leaders do not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. So, let's just say you're going against a Whitebeard deck, right? Let's say they've got a big vanilla body down. Let's say they have an ace down. And let's say their leader's tapped because they swung. Okay. And then I go, boom, drop this guy. He stays tapped, and your leader stays tapped. Your turn. Okay, now they play something, right? Whatever they play for that turn. If I go another turn into that, it's over, right? It's probably over. Because, okay, I'm going to keep that guy tapped, and your leader tapped again. You've lost 3 bodies. And the tempo, this is one of the best tempo 10 costs in the game. Now, yeah, the limitation, quote unquote, is, they have to have characters that are already tapped in order to really get this character's effect. Right? But, that's how One Piece works, right? You have to swing into your opponent to defeat them. So even if they only had 2, say they only had 1 character and a leader down, right? Which I feel like would be rare by the time you're on turn 5 or 6 where you have 10 Dawn down. But let's just say they have, 1 character and 1 leader. If they're both tapped, this card's worth playing because it locked their entire board down, right? Even if it is just 2 characters as opposed to the 3. But yeah, I just think this card, a lot of people slept on in the, a lot of reviews I saw. Actually, I don't know. A lot of people did really like this card, but I think, like looking at the card now and seeing it in action and seeing it in the deck that it's in right now, man, this card is probably a 10 out of 10. This Don Quixote Doflamingo. So, okay, let's go ahead and look through the other decks real quick. Okay. This is on 618 as well. This was another top 8 of the same tournament, of the same exact tournament that this one was in. This one's slightly different, okay? This deck did not favor the defensive route as much. Excuse me. It favored the more tempo route, which is still very powerful. It's only running 2 Paradise Waterfalls. It's with 3 Punk Gibson like the other one. 4 Spiderweb like the other one, 3 Thunder Bagua like the other one, but it's only running 2 Paradise Waterfalls, but it's running 2 Queens kind of in the place of it, right? It's running the 3 Tesseros. Sorry, let me read through the list real quick. I'm sorry, guys. It's running 1 3-cost 5K Vanilla Usopp, 4 of the Monkey D. Luffy blocker. Excuse me, it's running 4 Tony D. Chopper, 3 Shiki, 4 Uda, 3 Guild Tessero, 4 Buena Fiesta, 4 Nami Searcher, the 3-cost green one, 1 Frankie, 5-cost 7K Vanilla, 4 Sugar, 4 Don Quixote Doflamingo, big guy, and then 2 Queen, and then of course the event suite that I just read. So the big difference here, okay, I wouldn't be too distracted by those 2 vanillas because if you look at the last one we just looked at, this card did run a 3-cost 5K vanilla in a Baccarat. That's essentially the same thing as an Usopp, right? It's just one's purple, one's green. Excuse me. Now, this guy does interestingly run a 5-cost 7K, which I don't quite get. You can't cheat. You're not able to cheat that out with your Luffy. And that's kind of the whole point, right? Is like you want to be able to cheat something out with Luffy. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm missing something in the comments below. But that's the idea there, right? Yeah, I don't quite understand why. Like, why not even just make that 2 Usopps instead of the 1 Frankie? But, you know, a 5-cost 7K is a big body. We've seen what these things can do. They're an annoying, they're a nuisance to deal with. Swinging for 7K is it really is a sweet spot against most decks. You know, maybe not against Edward Newgate Whitebeard decks, but against most decks, swinging for 7 is an absolute nuisance. So, okay. It's running the 4 Sugars, 4 Namis, 4 Doflamingo, 3 Guild Tessero. That's the same as the last one. Excuse me. And it looks like they're running 4 Luffys. So really where they deviated from the last deck is they're up 1 Luffy. And are they not running Brook? Oh, wow. They're not running Brook. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to keep going back and forth with you. They're not running the 3 Brooks. So literally, they're 1 Frankie, they're 1 extra Luffy, and they're... What else am I missing here? Oh, and they're 1 extra Shiki. They run 3 Shikis. The other deck just changes those 3 cards over to 3 Brooks. And the 2 Paradise Waterfalls, like I said, they kind of swapped over with the Queen. So almost the same thing. And now let's look at the last deck here. 1 Brook, 4 Luffy, 4 Chopper, 4 Uda, 4 Tessero, 4 Buena Fiesta, 2 Paradise Waterfall again, too. 3 Nami, 4 Sugar, 4 Doflamingo, 3 Shiki, 4 Punk Gibson, 3 Spiderweb, 3 Don Quixote family, okay, 2 Union Armado, and then 2 Thunder Bagua. Now this one did get first place at it looks like a 17-person event. It says card Arashi 17 by it. So I think this was a 17 player event. Pretty good. They're only running 3 of the Nami Searcher and 1 Brook. They are running 4 Luffy. 2 of the Paradise Waterfall again, but no Queen. But they are running 2 Union Armado. Only 2 Thunder Bagua, but they're running 3 Don Quixote family. That one's really interesting. Let me see that real quick. I got to read this for us. Okay. It says counter, look at 5. It's 1 cost counter. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal to 1 Don Quixote Pirates. It's Don Quixote Pirate Search card. And the trigger activates its effect. And Union Armado, that's the one that gives plus 4,000 and they can't, whatever character it is, if it's a film character, it can't be KO'd, I believe. Let me see real quick, guys. I'm sorry. Some of these cards that we'll come across, you know, that's why I like to look at these. Are cards I don't typically see. Okay, yeah. So counter up to 1 of your film type leader or characters gains plus 4,000 power in this battle. If this card is a character, the character cannot be KO'd during this turn. Not a huge fan of Union Armado, to be completely honest with everybody. I would rather just have the 2 Paradise Falls, Paradise Waterfalls. The Don Quixote Family Searcher is weird too, because you have the Buena Fiesta and you have the Nami. So that's like literally 6, that's 10 Searchers. So maybe that's why they're only running 3 Namis. 3 Shikis, we have seen that before. 2 to 3 Shikis seems pretty standard. Buena Fiesta is a 4 of, and so is Tony Chopper. Those are just so good at 2K counters and what else they do. It's so nice. Or the synergy they have, I should say, with each other. Sugar. 1 Brook I find weird. I kind of like the Brook. I guess the idea on cutting down a Brook, though, or cutting down Brooks, is you don't want to play, you can't play Sugar from it, right? Because it has to be a film card. You don't want to play your Shiki. You don't want to play your Buena Fiesta. Those are 2K counters, and your Chopper as well. So maybe, I think that's generally why we see decks running like the Usopp. But Nami is good for Brook. I would want to drop down Nami, even if I can't get her effect right away, because it's still something they have to deal with. So, let's just pretend you go Monkey D. Luffy into Brook into Nami. Okay, you have a 7K, a 5K, and a 5K for 7. I'll take it. I'll take it literally every single time. One of them's a blocker, and then the other is going to be a searcher. You know, and the middle one's just a filler to drop down the 3K or the 3 cost. Right? I mean, am I wrong? Is Brook 2 or less? I gotta check now. No, it's a 3 or less. Play up to 1, cost 3 or lower, film or straw hat crew. So yeah, I mean that's just me, guys. Maybe the person didn't have another Nami because this would have been right around the time of release. You never know. But yeah, I think that's it for the for these. Yeah, then we'll go. I've got some other stuff lined up for later. You guys tell me what y'all think. So I don't have a lot of criticism to offer when a deck wins a championship like this, right? If there's a deck that wins a 100-person plus championship or wins an event with 100+ people in it, I'm not going to have much criticism to offer. I'll just say that right away. Personally, the only thing that I probably would change is changing out Baccarat for Usopp because it looks cooler. That's about it. You know, for the 3 calls vanillas, that's not even a change. You know, it's just it's just an aesthetic adjustment. But yeah, this deck right here, if I'm making a purple-green deck, this is the direction that I'm going personally. I'm not a purple-green player, okay? But this is the direction I would take it for sure. 4 Sugars, 4 Nami, yes, 4 Doflamingo, 3 Brooks, 3 Monkey Luffys, 4 Choppers, 2 Shiki, 4 Uda, 3 Guild Tesoros, your 1 Baccarat. You know, I love that. The one random Baccarat, 4 Buena Fiestas, and then the 4-3-4-3 defense package down there for the events. Just awesome. Just awesome. I love it. So yeah, tell me what you guys think down below. Is this a deck that interests y'all? Like, what do y'all think about it? As more and more come out, I'll definitely be, adjusting the list and, adding in some, adding these deck tech videos. I want to make it where, we talk about the deck, talk about synergies, talk about what makes it work, talk about what we would change, maybe we would add or subtract to the decks. So, hey, as more Doflamingo decks come out, I am probably going to make more videos on them, especially if they're different, right? If I see a very different Doflamingo deck pop up or a very interesting deck pop up in a top 16 somewhere, I'm more than likely going to try to cover it in a deck tech meta watch video like this, right? A deck evolution style videos. So, all right, guys, hope y'all enjoyed. And until next time, peace.